Distinguished guest of honor, Mr. Sami Kanaan, Honorable Chairman of the Geneva Centre's Board of Management, Ambassador Ghazi Jomaa, dear Geneva Centre's recognition awardees, ladies and gentlemen attending this ceremony across continents, allow me, as Executive Director of the Geneva Centre, to welcome you to this meeting. We are here together as friends, supporters, and defenders of a shared vision to protect and promote human rights, which are the intrinsic expression of the equal worth of each and every person comprising mankind. As an organization based in Geneva, the universally recognized pioneer and hub of humanitarianism, our center decided to take the initiative of offering recognition to the admirable human rights work of highly engaged persons in the field, and of holding this award ceremony on the very day of the International Commemoration of Human Rights. Allow me to explain the program of the ceremony, which is as follows. Our distinguished guest of honor will deliver the keynote address. This will be followed by the inaugural speech and successive presentation of each of the awardees by the Geneva Centre's chairman, followed by statements by each awardee respectively. I will close the ceremony with brief concluding remarks. Allow me now, before giving the floor, to introduce our distinguished guest speaker. Of dual Lebanese and Swiss nationality, Sami Kanaan is multilingual, French, German, English, Arabic. He obtained a physicist diploma, Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Zurich, highly renowned internationally, then a licence and a diploma in political science from the University of Geneva. Sami Kanaan has a very rich political experience. He was elected to the Parliament of the City of Geneva, the Municipal Council, as they say, in 1997, and then to that of the Canton of Geneva, Grand Conseil, before his election to the Executive of the City, Administrative Council, in spring 2011. Re-elected twice in 2015 and 20, he is currently in charge of the Department of Culture and Digital Transition after having been in charge of the Department of Culture and Sport. Mayor of Geneva on 3 occasions, he heavily contributed to building bridges across various borders, to promote culture and creativity, support for the media, the digital transition, and the resilience of cities in times of crisis. He also chairs the newly created Geneva Cities Hub, a bridge created jointly with the Canton and the Confederation of Switzerland to better connect cities with international Geneva. And to end, he knows our Geneva Center well, having delivered the concluding address as a special invitee at our center's World Conference in June 2018 on religions, creeds, and value systems for equal citizenship rights. Mr. Kanaan, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I feel very flattered and honored by your words about my commitment and my position. As you said, I am indeed in charge of culture, digital transition, and also international relations of the Executive Council of the City of Geneva. I would like to express my gratitude to be able today to address a few words to you. Mr. Ambassador, ladies and gentlemen, excellencies. The 10th December is every year a crucial day. I know I'm talking to people who are convinced because it's the annual anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It's a fundamental text, and as it has been mentioned, it has been drafted and finalized in Geneva. So when we say that Geneva is the world capital for human rights, it's not just about being proud of it or prestige, it's a huge responsibility. So we always try to be as active as possible in promoting human rights and supporting any initiative which may implement this declaration, because we all agree that it should never be forgotten that this declaration is an intention, but there's still a lot of work to be done to make it real for everybody on this planet. So we can see both sides of the story. We can realize that there is a bad side, because every year we have the impression, we may have the feeling that there are only little progress made in promoting human rights, implementing them, that even have a lot of situations where it seems to go backwards in some places of the world. But the good side of it is that every year we also notice concrete initiatives, concrete advancements, concrete progress. And this is only possible because people on the field in all parts of the planet engage themselves, sometimes risking their lives or their families and their concrete situation, because they really commit themselves to promote human rights in a very practical and concrete way. So it is very crucial to reward, to make it known, as far as possible, as wide as possible throughout the planet, and to value these initiatives, because the sum of all these initiatives create a real progress and motivate other people, other groups, other entities to engage also themselves in implementing the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It's like a positive contamination. It's also more important because we all suffer at the moment from this pandemic, which is a negative contamination. We need a positive contamination of concrete engagement on the field. Whatever the reasons may be of violation of human rights, it may be lack of knowledge of the rights. It can be sometimes even voluntary violation of human rights by some entities, governmental or non-governmental. It does be a lack of education, a lack of support. But we know also that if anybody at some stage say it's enough, we need to respect and to implement human rights, and that other people may follow, you can change the situation. One example among many others can be the Me Too movement against sexual harassment, which has especially grown up since 2017 and again the last years in a very strong way, because at some stage ladies have said, no, now it's enough. It's not normal to have this situation in the arts and the movie industry and in all the cultural life, even in privileged and theoretically developed countries in terms of human rights like Switzerland and other European and North countries who are supposed to be very respectful of human rights. Whatever rights we can mention, being the rights of women, of children, of indigenous people, cultural rights, economic rights, all human rights, it always starts with somebody say, okay, this is not acceptable, and regrouping talents, energies, motivation, that sooner or later this action gets weight and become a force of real change on the field. So we have to be very, very grateful to all of those who really take this risk, talk about justice, about dignity, sometimes also artists, for example. There are all kinds of ways to express the will to implement human rights on the field and to fight against any violation, direct, indirect violation of human rights. It is a crucial struggle every day, especially in our world today, where we have huge challenges, being climate change, migration, the impact of the pandemic on solidarity, on social welfare. So struggling for dignity, for equality and justice, for the recognition of rights in a very concrete way, not only theoretical way, to offer decent conditions of living for all of people, to struggle against any violence, being physical, psychical, or whatever. This should be a common struggle of all of us. And so that's why we have to support those who do it in a practical and effective way on the field. Some do it on a professional basis, some do it on a benevolent basis, which is even more admirable. Whatever the means, we have to support them. That's why I'm very grateful to this to the center to have organized this ceremony for recognizing people who have been engaged individually or collectively in the human rights. The fact that we do it on a video conference mode is on the one hand a bit sad, because obviously it would have been fantastic to meet physically together and to celebrate together. On the other hand, it's maybe an interesting symbol, because you get in a way this official recognition in your country, in your place where you are, in a concrete way. It's even very symbolic without having to go until Geneva. So again, to finish, I would like to say that as a city of Geneva, we are very grateful to all the organizations, NGOs or international entities who somehow are active in Geneva to work together on the promotion of human rights and to see that these organizations really get a concrete link to the field and make awards to people who on everyday life struggle for human rights. So I'm very grateful to the Geneva Centre for Human Rights Advance in the Global Dialogue for this initiative, and obviously my dearest and deepest congratulations to the people who are getting the recognition this year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for having graced this ceremony with your presence and words of encouragement. Et merci infiniment pour votre soutien infaillible à notre sens. I now invite the Geneva Centre's chairman, Ambassador Jomaa, to deliver his inaugural statement and successively present the awardees. Over to you, Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Umesh. I would like the beginning to join our executive director in thanking Mr. Sami Kanaan for his participation in this event and his keynote address. I sincerely hope I will have the pleasure in the future of meeting you in person. And I fully agree with him for the last observation he made that we would have more pleased to have this ceremony, special event in presential, but circumstances not allowed us to do that. But in the future, I hope we can do it. Dear guest of honor, respected members of the Geneva Centre's board, the Centre's Human Rights Recognition awardees, colleagues and friends. I have the pleasure to inaugurate the award ceremony and present the awardees. Allow me, however, at the outset, to briefly present our center. The Geneva Centre for Human Rights Advancement and Global Dialogue is an independent human rights think tank and advocacy institution established in 2013 and with its headquarters in Geneva. The center was granted special consultative status with the United Nations Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC, in July 2017. The Geneva Center's mandate is based on the 4 pillars of research and publication on current human rights question, training and national capacity building in human rights, advocacy through following and reporting on international human rights conferences, in particular the Human Rights Council, and significant development in the field of human rights, and fourthly, the cross-cutting pillar of promotion of a global intercultural and interreligious dialogue on vital human rights issues by organizing conferences and panel debates with publication of their proceedings to promote human rights worldwide and foster mutual understanding, tolerance, and the celebration of diversity among the different peoples and regions of the world. The Geneva Center's awards for human rights recognition are being given to individuals who work for the protection, promotion, and advancement of human rights. The center trusts that the awards are not only an opportunity to acknowledge and increase the visibility of the significant work of such individuals, but also present an occasion to celebrate human rights achievements. This initiative falls within the framework of the Geneva Center's mandate to promote human rights and encourage field work in this regard. Let me now begin by presenting the first awardee. Mrs. Hira Amjad from Pakistan is the co-founder and director of Dastak Foundation. She has been working towards gender-based violence prevention and the promotion of women's rights since 2014. Her Dastak initiative aspires to strengthen gender-based violence prevention through creating platforms to educate women and young girls regarding their bodily autonomy and rights. Although based in Islamabad, the foundation works throughout Pakistan with its network of implementing partners. She works closely with the beneficiaries in the field. I will be brief in the presentation because the awardee will speak. That's why Mrs. Hira I will give you the floor. Madam, you have the floor, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ghazi. And am I audible, Alia?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
first of all, a very happy International Human Rights Day to all of you who is here and everybody else who is celebrating and recognizes the importance of advancing human rights everywhere in the world. Thank you so much, honorable guests, for having me here today. It's truly an honor. The moment I received the email from Geneva Centre for Human Rights Advancement and Global Dialogue, even regarding the nomination for the award, my immediate response was that there is so much that I have yet to do or want to do in order to strengthen gender-based violence prevention globally. The work that I am doing, it hasn't even scratched the tip of the iceberg. But here we are. And once again, I'm truly honored and grateful to be sharing this award with other human rights leaders from different parts of the world who are present here at the moment. I have prepared a brief statement, and I also wanted it to be an amalgamation of my journey and the work that I am doing to advance human rights and to strengthen gender-based violence prevention. When I was young, very young, I read this quotation somewhere and it stayed with me. There is something wrong with the world if ending sexual violence is a career choice and not common sense. It stayed with me till now. I would often wonder this among countless other things, too complex for my young brain to comprehend and too abnormal for those around me to understand. Here, I would like to share a few stories with you and questions that used to keep me up all night. How can my aunt force my cousin to go back to her husband after being psychologically abused by him for 5 years? How can a very dear friend of mine, after tolerating abuse for 7 years, for giving birth to 4 daughters, beg her husband to not divorce her? What can make a woman beg the doctor to not save her, to let her die, despite being in a lot of pain? How can a pregnant woman be beaten to death by her husband in the name of honor? How can her choice to live depend upon mere hearsay? And her life depends upon the honor of men. I don't have enough time today, but I have a lot of stories that I have firsthand experienced and gathered through my work. These stories and incidents, closer to home and at societal level, have always led me to just one conclusion. I knew it in my bones that somewhere something was very wrong and that needed to change. Here, I would like to share with all of you that luckily for me, despite being born in the 6th most dangerous country for women in the world, I was born in the household that recognized my voice, agency, and autonomy. I was taught and encouraged to be, to love, to recognize my privilege, and to take responsibility through not just words, but action. Therefore, I will always, always be grateful to my parents for their support, encouragement, and trust. But unfortunately, it pains me to say this out loud, that in a society where I grew up, what should have been normal is a privilege that only few enjoy. I realized that after repeatedly being labeled different, crazy, and unconventional by my extended family or peers. But I couldn't be more grateful to them because for it was their constant criticism that kept the fire burning all these years and led to Dastak Foundation and its initiative Wasila. Here I would like to mention 2 very important people who have guided, motivated, and kept me standing throughout my journey, which has only just started. Dr. Asma Shakir Khwaja, my teacher, who taught me to dream big, and Sayyid Ali Hamid, my mentor, who showed me how to manifest those dreams into reality. And when I look back, I am amazed at how things have played out because it was Dr. Asma who connected me with Sayyid Ali Hamid in the first place. Both of these mentors taught me it's okay to fall and how to fly, how to turn challenges into opportunities. And here we are. I'm honored to share that both of my mentors have played an integral role in the conception and development of Dastak Foundation. Dastak is a women-led feminist collective aspiring to strengthen gender-based violence prevention through creating positive narratives and platforms to educate women and girls about their bodily autonomy, agency, and rights. Little did I know that a social media campaign launched from the platform of Shaur Foundation for Education and Awareness, born from my desire and dream to just educate women about their rights, would transform into an organization which would start working on a regional and global level to advance Sustainable Development Goal 5 and Sustainable Development Goal 17. Dastak equips young women and girls with knowledge and information that is essential to safeguard them and to accelerate gender-based violence reporting in the country. My work has also been tailored to accommodate the impact of shadow pandemic on women. And while doing so, I have collaborated and worked with different government-run helplines and institutions to facilitate and strengthen networks that can support women. Dastak's unique expression and unconventional approach to tackle patriarchal tendencies has made it a credible platform for women across Pakistan and has also attracted regional and international collaborations, leading to the emergence of Tabir, South Asia's first feminist collective advocating the use of digital technology to advance gender-based violence prevention. Obviously, my statement wouldn't be complete if I wouldn't share some statistics with all of you. Dastak has reached out to approximately 15 million people since November 2019. Just to highlight the impact, over the course of last 2 years, 1,500 young girls and women have been educated about ways and means to report violence, how to register FIR, how to report abuse, harassment, how to act as active bystanders, and have also been taught basic self-defense to safeguard themselves from violent situations. Dastak also believes that just empowering women is not enough. Therefore, simultaneously, we also work with men, CSO representatives, village elders, and faith-based leaders so that we can form a network that is working towards elimination of gender-based violence. The work that we are doing through Dastak and Wasila is extremely groundbreaking in terms of GBV prevention in Pakistan and at South Asia level. Therefore, Wasila is something which was envisioned to gather all the information readily available regarding how to report abuse, where to seek help, whom to turn to, and what sort of helplines are available in Pakistan on one technological digital platform. The expansion of Wasila, which is still in the development phase, would include development of an app-based map, which would enable women to live report cases of harassment, abuse, and violence. And that will directly be connected with the local departments to facilitate and accelerate the process of help. We are working on the translation of the resource portal in Urdu language, which is going to benefit millions of women across my country at grassroots and community level. And that is where this award is actually going to help and facilitate. The monetary contribution that my organization and I'm going to receive through this award would directly go into this extension of the existing portal, where the entire work will be translated into Urdu language. That's a little bit about my work. I want everyone at this juncture to pause, think, and try to let what I'm going to say next sink in. I have read this many times, and every time I read this statistic, it hits me really hard. According to World Health Organization, 1 in 3 women across the planet are beaten or raped during their lifetime. That is approximately 1 billion women and girls. How can we allow that to become our normal? How can 1 billion people with dreams, aspirations, and hopes be just another statistic? This has to change. This needs to change. And I'm glad that we are here to commemorate and to talk about that how we can further advance this work that is being done at community and grassroots level by different human rights activists and defenders in different parts of the world. Towards the end, I would just like to say that we write our own stories. And if we don't like them, we have the power to change them. Therefore, let's write our stories the way we want them to be today and now. And let's continue our work towards advancing human rights in different parts of the world because we have the power to do so. Towards the end, I'm going to thank once again the team of Geneva Centre for awarding me with this honor. I am truly, truly grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Hira, and I agree with you. Let's continue our work in the field of human rights. We have a lot of things to do. I now present the next awardee, Mrs. Molly Namirembe from Uganda, is a former child labor and a young human rights activist. Her project aims at the elimination of child labor and child trafficking through advocacy, children and youth empowerment, capacity building, as well as networking with different stakeholders for changing policy and practice that perpetuate child labor. She is a living example of resilience, and she is a former victim of child labor and is now actively involved in global efforts to combat it. She successfully led the implementation of different interventions, including the withdrawal of children from gold mining sites, their rehabilitation, skilling, and provision of startup kits for the promotion of decent work. Madam, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you greetings from Uganda. I am greatly honored and humbled to be one of the recipients for the Human Rights Recognition Award from the Geneva Centre for Human Rights. This comes with a lot of fulfillment and joy for me to learn that my passion for human rights, especially the rights of children, resonates with that of many other people out there. But most importantly, that the small baby steps that I have taken in my capacity as a youth advocate in Uganda are being appreciated and recognized at a global level. I am honored to be sharing this award and platform with 2 great women and a gentleman who are also doing exceedingly good work in the human rights space. Ladies and gentlemen, I congratulate you too, and I'm greatly inspired by your work. Between 2004 and 2006, when I became a total orphan, a school dropout, and a child laborer at a tea plantation, I never imagined ever being appreciated for anything else in this world other than picking many baskets of tea per day. Today, I stand here, I sit here, I meet all of you who appreciate the work that I've been able to do. And this imagination sometimes gets me emotional because I never expected it. And I pray that it inspires so many people out there who are doing things that are similar to what I'm doing or relatively more work, but are not here with us today for recognition. I hope this inspires them to do more and keep doing whatever they are doing. I also hope that this award inspires young people who are now in exploitation with shattered dreams and do not know how to get out of it. I just want to let them know that if I did it and I am here today, then they can do it too. My career in the child protection space started in 2015 when I first interacted with the SCREAM. SCREAM is supporting child rights through education, the art and media. It's a methodology of the ILO that I interacted with in 2015 as a university student. I remember one of my trainers asking a question to all of us in that room: what is your story? As everyone shared their stories comfortably, I couldn't share my story with the whole group. As people shared theirs, I looked back at my own story, and I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really sorry, but I looked back at my own story and I realized I couldn't share it with anyone at that particular moment. I just moved out of the room and I was handled by different specialists to be able to share. But even at that time, I could only share it with my trainer, Mr. Nsubga Joffrey. He was the first person to learn of my story, and he helped me and mentored me to become who I am. As I shared my story, I looked back and remembered the many children that I left behind at the plantation. But I also reflected on those people that I see every day working on the farm or working on the streets, what they were going through, and how difficult it was for them to share their story with anyone. At that point, I knew this was a call for me to help other people to do just something as simple as speaking about their experiences. I had for long thought that I would be able to support children, but I didn't know how. And at that time, I realized that that was my calling, to help and empower young people to be able to share their story, to speak about it, to look out for one another, and to look out for help. And that's what I have done since then. All along, when I was supporting the young people, I always just do the small baby steps. And I always tell young people, you can do anything that you can do in your capacity. Even listening is an action. Providing a listening ear is an action. Hugging someone who is going through pain is an action. And that's what I tell the young people that I mentor to do every day on a daily basis for anyone that seems to be having their rights violated. Since then, I have worked with children through the in-school children groups, out of school young people who have been going through exploitation. We have together withdrawn so many children by reaching out to them, by looking for help within the social structures. But also this work of working with children has opened the doors for me to enter the advocacy world. I have reached a level where I'm now implementing more advanced programs that are aimed at elimination of child labor and child trafficking in my country. Together with the young people, we have been able to influence these different policies, different legal frameworks, different practices. We have been able to input in 2 laws in Uganda. One of them is a mining and minerals bill that was initially silent about child labor, and yet it was happening at a greater extent in my country. We advocated together with young people from different districts where mining was happening to see that clauses on child labor were included. We have worked on the National Employment Act for review. And this is basically to ensure that it recognizes child labor that happens within homes, child labor that even lawmakers may not be able to see because it happens under closed gates, child labor where inspectors go to inspect and it's considered as trespass. So we've been able to influence the Employment Act of Uganda. It's currently not finalized, but there are clauses that recognize homes as workplaces and domestic work as places that should be legally inspected and given access to all labor inspectors. We have been able to conduct so many community awarenesses, community dialogues that are aimed at reducing the culture, the perception, and improving the attitudes of people. I personally do that because I remember when I was going through violation and exploitation, so many people saw me doing it and looked on. So many people used me as a good example to other children that if she's able to work and go back to school, then why not you? And I really feel that we need to go down to address the root causes. We need to go and create awareness about it. People need to draw a gap between the work that children must do at home to grow up as responsible citizens and that tantamount to child labor. And this I take up as my own responsibility to talk to anyone, including my neighbors, including anyone that I'll find on the road, because I know it's equally equally important. We have taken up platforms on the celebration for World Against Child Labor in my country since 2015 until now, and this is a platform for us to air our voices, to speak about our experience. This is a platform that I also give to other young people, other children who have stories like mine but have never gotten a chance to share. It's a good moment that I always provide for them to share and get comfort and generally come out to be stronger and support the cause of advocating against child labor and child exploitation. It's on a sad story that I inform you that the recent statistics that were released by the ILO and UNICEF showed that 160 million children all over the world are still in exploitation. This is so sad because COVID-19 has generally watered down our achievements over the last 20 years. And for me, this award that I'm receiving today and the event itself are a motivation for me to accelerate my efforts to end all forms of human rights and child rights violation. And I hope that as we are here in this meeting, we feel the same energy. If you haven't yet felt it, I pass it on to you right now, because really this is the only way to go. We need to accelerate our efforts. We have been doing what we can, but this is not the time to do what we can. This is a time for us to do what we have to do, and that is ending human rights violation, including child rights violations. As I conclude, I want to thank the Geneva Centre for Human Rights for this recognition award, the capacity building trainings that I have attended before, and the platform that you have always given to me to share my story as well as to learn from other people. I want you to know that what we are in is a good fight and we are in it together. I am one of the people that are fighting with you, and we should keep this going. I want to thank my husband in his absentia, for he has always stood by my side. I am always on the road, always attending meetings, even at night, and he's going through the journey to raise our son, sometimes alone for weeks, for months, as I go out to do that job, but he has never complained. I actually left him in Uganda the day after our wedding to go and attend a global advocacy meeting. So I really want to recognize his support. And I know this is the way to go for men, and I encourage all the men in this platform. Some of the responsibilities that we have as women are biological, such as delivering, breastfeeding, and everything. But if you come in to support us in ways that are not biological, we really appreciate you, and I encourage all of you to do that. Finally, I dedicate this award to my lovely mother. She passed on when I was 11 years, but I know she's flying with the angels. I dedicate this award to her because she protected me from harm. I was never exploited while she was alive. I was never working even when she was struggling. So I dedicate this award to her for the example that she gave me of child protection. And I want to let her know that I carry this forward with me wherever I go. And I pray that every child is protected from any form of violence, any harm for their first 18 years. Because the scars that you get in the first 18 years sometimes never heal, even when we grow. Ending human rights violation is a good fight. It is our fight, and it's achievable if we all play our parts in our own capacities. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam. And really, we encourage you to continue your fight. And I think by your last remark, when I said you dedicate this award to your mother, I think she, wherever she is now, she will feel proud of you and whatever you are doing. And we support you. We are with you, and continue your fight. We encourage you for that. Thank you. Our third awardee is Mrs. Myers from United States of America, Mrs. Kaiser Myers. She is the founder and executive director of One Digital World, a non-profit organization that connects, educates, and empowers refugees and asylum seekers worldwide through technology and digital education. Her organization has helped refugees and asylum seekers from 11 countries. It also provided computer access to over 2,000 people and currently provides free classes 5 days per week that empower self-reliance and integrations. With 1,000, okay, I will stop here. I will give the floor, Madam.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hello from the United States. It's very early over here, but I'm so thankful for everything that the Geneva Centre does to advocate for human rights. And thank you so much to all of my fellow award winners for your amazing work. It continues to always be so inspiring when I'm able to hear these beautiful and heroic stories and learn more from peers and from mentors as I go through this process. So thank you so much for all of the work you all are doing. It's truly an honor to share a stage with everyone here. I first began working with refugees in 2016 when learning about the Syrian refugee crisis. And I knew I was very interested in helping in any way that I can. My background is in education. And so I took the opportunity to go to kind of the heartland of that crisis, which was out in Lesbos, Greece in the Mediterranean. And I began working at Karatepe refugee camp, working with refugees there from 17 different nations. And during my time there, built the most amazing and inspiring relationships, just learning that absolutely every person that I met there was a hero that I had on a level that I had never seen before, doing whatever it took, overcoming just so many odds to be able to take care of themselves, to be able to take care of their families, and to make the world a better place. It inspired me and absolutely changed my life. So I've never been able to look back and never been able to change my line of work again. I knew I'd be working with refugees and asylum seekers forever. In 2018, I came back to the United States and we began seeing our own crisis along the US-Mexico border. So again, I was able to begin working with families, particularly with mothers, working on asylum applications to assist refugees and asylum seekers to relocate to the United States. Began working with different deported veterans. We had amazing people that had served in the US military, but were unable to get citizenship in the United States and were deported back to home countries as if they had not done their very best to serve our country. So I knew that there was an opportunity here to be able to expand what their rights are and be able to right these wrongs. In 2020, I had founded One Digital World. So my nonprofit connects, educates, and empowers asylum seekers and refugees worldwide through technology and digital education. And the way that we do that is that we set up computer labs inside refugee camps around the world. And we provide and facilitate online services in order to prepare refugees and asylum seekers for integration and self-reliance in a new country. What I had seen when I first started working in camps was, although no one wants to be a refugee, no one plans to be an asylum seeker and have to leave their home country, but there is this beautiful community that was built inside the camps. And I learned that so much when I was in Karatepe. I've talked a bit about being inspired there and seeing the amazing beauty and strength that come out of people, sometimes in the most dire of situations. And then the beautiful community that was built in these camps, seeing them be so excited to be able to move on and go to the next steps in their lives, and yet struggle so much without the assistance to be able to move into a new country, to be able to integrate into their new community and be able to get their children into school and find employment so that they can be self-reliant. So what I wanted to do was provide that education. Everyone deserves access to education. Everyone deserves access to information. No one wants to be the charity. Everyone wants to be able to provide that for themselves and be able to give back to this world. And simply, sometimes we're not able to have the opportunity to do so. So that is why One Digital World was founded. We now provide classes for English, for digital literacy, legal support, public health clinics. We really wanted to hone in and focus on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 4 and 10, expanding quality education and reducing inequalities. So that's why now we have served refugees from 11 different countries. We focus, currently have our locations in Mexico, in Tijuana, Mexico, where we work in 3 different migrant shelters and serve over 2,000 people. And as we've been able to do that, we've continued to grow and expand through into the United States as well. We are so lucky to be able to partner with amazing organizations like Human Rights First, headquarters based in Los Angeles, California, where we work with asylum seekers from throughout Central America that have relocated to the United States, but are currently trying to build and set up their lives there. I also work with the Asylum Task Force, which is a part of the San Diego Refugee Forum, working with 60 different organizations that are working to assist women through domestic violence, to assist families with integrating into the County of San Diego within California. Now, the goal is that one day I won't be able to do this work anymore, but now we face the largest refugee crisis than ever in recorded history. And as I've been working with this population for over 5 years now, unfortunately, I've had to say that every single year because this problem continues to grow. Every single year, we have more forcibly displaced people and families than ever in recorded history. So our goal is to expand. Wherever there is a need, we look to expand, whether it's in North America, South America, Africa, Europe. This is a problem for all of us. None of us are free in receiving the rights that we deserve until we all are. So thank you so much for all of the work that everyone here is doing. Thank you so much again to the Geneva Centre. Thank you to my family and my team at One Digital World for all of our support and the hard work we do every day. It makes it worth it. And I know that sometimes it's so difficult, but I continue to be so inspired because what we do is changing the world every single day. So thank you. Thank you for all of this.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Ghazi. I agree with you that this problem of refugees is increasing, and it touches all continents all over the world. And that's why we have to fight. You have to continue your fight. We have to fight whatever we can do, even small things, to alleviate the suffering of those people, because as you said, they didn't choose to be refugees. Thank you very much again. Now, finally, our awardee of honor is Mr. Masoumi. Mr. Sayed Masoumi from Afghanistan believes in teamwork, leadership, and the results-oriented work environment by promoting gender equality as a driver for growth. He proposed and developed the Rural Women's Entrepreneurship Project and submitted to the UN Women for finding. The project got accepted and started with the big objectives. He ended with remarkable results. He helped design the Rural Women's Entrepreneurship Project to support women and with a new set of skills such as business development, how to sell, marketing, social media, and product packaging. The Geneva Centre Award of Honor will shed light on and amplify the visibility of his initiative, whether it is the Rural Women Entrepreneurship Project to support women with the new set of skills such as business development, marketing, and product packaging. You have the floor, Mr.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Mr. Ambassador, the chairman of Geneva Centre, and awardees and guests. It's an honor and privilege to be here. Before coming to Rural Women's Entrepreneurship Project, my journey to get an introduction with human rights and gender equality started in 2015 when I joined ITHIC, the world's largest youth-run organization. In there, we had designed different projects inside Afghanistan in order to empower women and girls at universities to get to know more soft skills, the world outside Afghanistan, send them to short-term and long-term exchange programs, as it was core of the ISIC. In 2017, I traveled to India and joined a project called Login India with the support of ISIC and Harsha University. And there we conducted several leadership, communication, technology, and other tech-related skill trainings for rural areas in India, especially in Karnataka state, where rural girls had less knowledge about technology, how to use technology, how to make communication with outside world. And that was quite a remarkable achievement. After becoming alumni from ISIC, I thought, what's next? What can be the next? So I, along with some colleagues from ISIC, started thinking about founding an organization to continue our journey to be focused more on developing Afghanistan society in a very practical base. We founded Voice National Development Organization, and in there, aside from other projects, we attended one exhibition, which with the support of USAID, a group of women from rural areas came to exhibit their products and find market for their products. And we noticed so many things lacking there in terms of branding, in terms of product packaging, in terms of communication, publicity, and how they're doing the sales. There was so many lacking materials, and we thought, let's design a project and let's group these companies and give them a quite solid and practical training in order to reach to more objectives. As you all know, Afghanistan is dominated by male more in terms of business industry. So we designed this rural women entrepreneurship project with the support of UN Women, and we ran it in the mid 2020. And we had conducted several trainings, practical-based training with the support of Women Chambers of Commerce also. And then through this project, we received remarkable achievement. Now they have their own social media page platform. They have a clear business plan. They know how to sell. They know through which sources they can sell their products. And also they are communicating with each other on how to make partnership and how to find more development in their business sector outside Afghanistan. Our next season was planned in 2021, but the unfortunate thing happened in my country. And as you all know, Taliban took over Afghanistan, and our staff, our plan, everything collapsed. Now our organization is not physically present there, but we are working online. As you know, there's no restriction on technology. When you have a clear voice, when you have a dream, when you have a clear objective, then through social media and technology, you can gain that. And now we are planning to group the voice of young women and girls who flee the country, who have been migrated to other countries, and also bring the Muslim countries' girls' voices together and start a campaign to give the Taliban a clear voice that the rights of women must be considered when they are planning to create their government. And still we see so many violations of human rights and women's rights in Afghanistan right now. And I think there is a need for us to take action. If we become silent, then I'm sure they also will ignore. They need to be under pressure. They need to respect women and human rights. And on this occasion of human rights, this award motivates me more and my team to work hard and achieve those milestones. Thank you for your attention. And this was quite brief because that's it for today. And thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you. What you are right to say, the big change happened in Afghanistan. That's really made it difficult for you to work. But as you said, also key word, when you have a dream, this will push you to find way to continue your fight and your work, especially especially in this field of human rights, etc. Then that's why we encourage you in that, and congratulations on the case.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you. Thank you then for the four awardees for sharing with us their experiences and projects to promote human rights in their respective domains and countries. The Geneva Centre remains in appreciation of future collaboration with them. I will now hand the floor to Dr. Umesh, the Geneva Centre Executive Director, for his closing remarks. Yes, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be very brief. A huge thanks to you all present for your active and rich participation, which enabled this event to be such a success. I once again, on behalf of the Geneva Centre and its board, congratulate the awardees warmly, with whom we will continue to interact. You will be shortly receiving by email the certificates of recognition and all the follow-up that was indicated. I'm also sure their work will serve as an example to many others to promote and further respect for human rights the world over. We all wish you a very happy and safe New Year and hope to see you soon at future events. The ceremony is over. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.